Is the GPU shortage back? I know that's weird to hear. If you remember the great GPU shortage a few years ago because of cryptocurrency, everybody was buying GPUs and you couldn't get anything that came out. Prices were inflated. Now, that's been over, but what about AI and things like that? There's certainly been a demand for those GPUs, but you may be thinking, those are different than gaming GPUs, right? Even though the RTX 4090 was recently, banned from going into China, there's certainly been a lot of movement of inventory. That is a GPU that has, 24 gigabytes of VRAM. It's very fast in every imaginable way. So definitely makes sense that that's a problem. How about everything else? I saw this tweet from Power PCs. They are, a builder of PCs, and they said due to the GPU shortage, they're going to be packing their GPUs alongside their cases instead of shipping them. Now, the reason they're going to do this, it makes complete sense because when you ship something like a GPU is pretty heavy, and that's going to be attached to a PCIe port. And now let's hear a word from our sponsor, VIP-CDKdeals.com, a Windows 10 Pro CD key. Add to cart, you put in code CC20. This will also work on Windows 11. You want to go into your settings in Windows, change and adjust your CD key, click activate, and now let's go back to the video. The reason they would do this, it makes sense. A PCIe port is sensitive, especially when it's being shipped in a box. You know how they throw the boxes around the different shipping services. GPU is very heavy, so a lot of cases the GPU has snapped off and broken. There's a million ways that they can get damaged. Some computers will even have a little bracket to hold it. While it's okay if it's on your desk and you're not moving it around, when it goes through the stresses of the shipping system, be it any of the major shippers, then it can have a little more of a problem. So that makes sense. They would want to put it separately in the box, and then the user would install it. Okay, that's not important really for our conversation, but what is what they said. The reason they want to do this, it's not just to prevent any damage, it's because due to a GPU shortage, so as somebody who builds PCs like them, they're going to see what's coming through the channel or not, and they see a lot of 4090s and 4080s probably aren't nearly as available, so if GPUs are breaking, it's going to be harder for them to replace it. It's going to be a little bit more of a rare commodity. Now, 4090 and 4080 may not be available for two very different reasons. The 4080 simply didn't sell very well, and they probably didn't make nearly as many as the 4090, which did sell very well. Not to mention the fact that the Super lineup should be coming soon, and that's going to be replaced. The 4080 Super and the 4070 Ti Super potentially may be coming. There's a couple things going on here with, the 4090s. If you look around, they're hard to find. I did a video the other day showing, Newegg, Micro Center, Best Buy. Very difficult to find a 4090. When you do, it's usually one with a lot of compromises, like maybe one with an AIO or maybe, something else, but they're very difficult to find. And when you do find them, the price went up a lot. It seems like many GPUs went up probably at least 10% or something like that. Some 4090s that I saw are like $200 more expensive now than they were just like 2 or 3 months ago. So that shows you that there is some shortage issues, because if you had a lot of them and people, had more access to them, you definitely wouldn't be seeing the price go up. They'd be going down. Like you see other GPUs on sale, like even the 4070 has been on sale to better match the 7800 XT, and GPUs like that in the mid-range. So that's very interesting. We have a few points of reference here that there potentially is some type of shortage. The 4090s are one thing with being banned and all of that story. The 4080 being replaced by a 4080 Super. Then of course there are actual reports that possibly Nvidia stopped producing the 4080 and 4070 Ti to board partners by the end of this year. That means that automatically in the inventory and everywhere else, you're going to see a lot less of these GPUs. Therefore, making it seem at least like a shortage of these particular products. I think you could see the strategy here. Intel used to do this for years with their expensive CPUs before AMD came in. Instead of lowering prices so that way they sell stuff really cheap, they'll leave stuff priced pretty expensively, but then they'll just stop restocking. They'll just put put less on the market so they don't have to drop the price. They'll just wait for somebody to buy it at the higher price, therefore not really diminishing the value that maybe consumers perceive something to be at. If it's something expensive and you see it on sale for half the price like 2 months later, you're going to automatically think this thing doesn't hold value. It's not worth its initial asking price. So the next time they release it, you're going to say, I'm just going to wait 2 months until the price is, it goes down in half. But if they hold strong with the price, like if a 4090 never went below $1599, and you're going to know if you want a 4090, you're going to have to spend that. If you wait, it's probably not going to be under that for a very long time until it's an old GPU. So there is some sense in them for using that type of strategy. Maybe not the best for consumers, and they just reduce their production capacity, but that's sort of how it is. And with new GPUs coming out, 4080 Super, as well as maybe a 4070 Ti Super, maybe a 4070 Super, could be any of those. With those coming out, I guess they don't really want too many 4080s on the market because automatically those are going to drop in price very, very heavily. They already have been dropping in price with sales and things like that, like the 4080. So with a 4080 Super, they're going to go down in price even more. So what does this mean? If you're looking to buy a GPU and a high-end one, I guess it's the same story as always. If you see one at a decent price, might as well buy it if it's like a 4090 or something like that. Anything 4080, 4070 Ti, it may be better to wait until the Super is announced, possibly CES 2024, like in January. And then a couple of months, you may have a new, more powerful, maybe cheaper GPU. Otherwise, in like the mid-range, like 4070, 4060 Ti, it remains to be seen. A 4070 Super will probably be a little more expensive, but definitely not a bad idea to wait a little longer, as just in a few months, we will have some type of super GPUs, and that can explain some of these shortages as well. All right, guys, so remember to subscribe, smash that like button, and I'll see you guys on the next video.